what Spirit Halloween looks like after Halloween. Obviously, with the season being over, all the stores start to close, but not without their big sale that happens on the first 2 days after Halloween. All the items are 50% off and people buy it up. So I wanted to check out everything they had left before they close. Let's see what Spirit Halloween looks like after Halloween at their flagship location. Of course, I had to go to the flagship location because I started the season going here, so I might as well end it. As you can see on this window, it says entire store on sale now. And with them having big posters like this, I'm sure there's going to be barely anything left. Also on the door here, they have entire store 50% off. And the last day of operation is November 3rd. Let's see how much is left in here. Okay, well, right as you walk in, I'm actually pretty surprised. They still have pretty much the entire display with animatronics set up. I thought for sure everything would be gone, but I guess not. However, before I talk about all that, right as I walked in, I saw this screen that I've never seen. If you stand in front of it, you turn into like a different character. Look at this, there I am, I'm Beetlejuice or something. But anyway, going back to the display, like I said, it's mostly still here. The big archway they usually have in the front is gone, but the rest of it right now remains. I mean, it looks like it's been taken apart a little bit, but nothing too major. But this thing is actually for sale, so if you wanted it, you could buy it. However, I don't think I have any room for that. Now, yes, most of the animatronics are gone, which is no surprise at all, but some still remain, like this guy right here. You have the Chuck E. Cheese rat at the end. Glad to see he's still around. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Someone fell through the seat. Bullseye the Clown is in the front. You have my least favorite this year, Night Owl. I'm not shocked that he's still around. Does he still even work? No, he's completely turned off. And then, of course, all the way at the end, you have the Jumping Spider. Even when Spirit is closing, you can't get rid of the Jumping Spider. That thing will live on forever. But this being the flagship store, they actually have a lot of animatronics in the box still. Almost any other Spirit you go to won't have any, but this being the flagship, they have a bunch. And remember, this is all 50% off, so it makes buying some of these animatronics actually worth it. The only downside is you have to wait an entire year to put it up, but other than that, it's not bad. Over here, you have a whole pile of mutant sewer rats. There's just so many of these guys. You got 2 Bullseye the Clowns right here. You got a couple Night Owls. Like I just said, this is my least favorite, so I'm not going to be buying this. Right next to that, you have a couple head case Harrys. And this animatronic, they actually had to take down off display because his face was ripping. So I'm sure they have a bunch of these left over now. Around the corner is Twisted Grandma. I thought this one was really cool. You can see her right there. They have a lot of the Crypt Countess. This one just goes absolutely crazy, and she was right in the front. So I'm surprised they have so many of her. And you see they have even more of her across from there. I guess not a lot of people picked this one up. Now, this is pretty neat. It looks like they're pulling out some old ones with this witch animatronic. I remember seeing the box of this, but never on display. They have 2 of these here, and then another one all the way on this side. Here's a whole pile of Betty Sharp. I actually forget if I've seen this animatronic before or not, but she's on sale right there. And they have at least 10 of those right here in this pile. And then you also have this older animatronic that definitely looks like it from the box. We got a Twisted Grandma with a Jack the Reaper still. Here's a bunch of Corpse Bride animatronics. For some reason, they have a whole pile of Mr. Punchy. Like, I don't know why there's so much, but they just have him. This guy's definitely a couple years old now. And based on this box, it definitely shows. Look at that. And then you have 3 of the Howling Spirit. I'm surprised. They have a lot of old ones. Now in this corner, they do have a bunch of inflatables and whatnot. You can see it's starting to become a lot more empty, but it's basically just the standard stuff. Besides this one that I've never seen. I had no idea they made an inflatable off of that animatronic. Also, these 2 boxes got absolutely destroyed. I honestly love it. No matter what condition the box is, they just throw it up on the shelf anyway. It doesn't matter if it's brand new or destroyed. Just throw it up and hopefully somebody buys it. Now, speaking of inflatables, they do have a lot more over here. Like, here's a bunch from Killer Clown from Outer Space. Why is there so many? But you also have Trick or Treat, and I'll say it every year, I need to see this movie. However, I just don't do it for some reason. But really, the biggest reason why people come after the season is to get the mask and costumes. I guess you can never get your Halloween costume too early, even if it's literally an entire year earlier, but it's cheaper, so that's what matters. I always come every year and think, oh, I might buy something, but then I never do. I try to think of reasons why I would need the mask for videos or whatnot, and I can never think of a good reason, so I just don't buy it. Something literally just fell right there as I was talking. The store is literally falling apart as we speak, but they do have some cool ones in here, like this mask from the Lost Boys. I've never seen that. We got this really great Batman Returns mask. You also got Frankenstein right here. Oh, I'm sorry, Frankenstein's monster. Here's Reagan from The Exorcist. Oh, wow, and even this from Halloween 3. That is great. I've never seen these. Halloween 3 is definitely the black sheep of the series, but it has its cool moments. And then, of course, how can I forget about this one? This is my new favorite mask. It's my new favorite just because of this one scene in this super obscure movie trailer. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, but I love it. Now, like I was saying with the mask, how I look around and try to find stuff for videos, I do the same thing with costumes. But then when I really think about it for 2 seconds, I realize I have no use for these. However, this one's pretty tempting. Who doesn't love a good poop on the toilet? Oh, and I just realized it's the name of the new Wimpy Kid book. Is this how Jeff Kenny got the inspiration for the new book? I must say though, I'm pretty shocked so far. I thought this store would be a lot more empty, but I guess with it being the flagship, it's expected to have a lot of merchandise. I mean, there is little spots here and there, but overall, nothing crazy. I mean, obviously besides the animatronics being gone, or even sections like this being surprisingly empty. Honestly, at this point, I'm just trying to find anything I could possibly want, but I'm not really seeing much. Although if I was a kid still, I probably would buy everything. Like I would just buy all of this just because it's 50% off. But just take a look at all the costumes they still have left. My question is, what do they do with this stuff throughout the entire year? Spirit has to buy gigantic warehouses just to fit this stuff, just to have it sit there for an entire year. If they really want this stuff out, they got to make it 75% off. Now, I've looked at these plenty of times, but you have all the SpongeBob costumes. Now, as tempting as these are, I'm not gonna buy them. Besides, I already wore one of these back in the day for a video. It was the best costume of all time. But this one would be pretty funny just because it goes up to 7 feet tall. Oh, and look at that, even the eyes move. Now, in case you're wondering what happened to that Squid Game doll, well, they actually sold those off to people that wanted them. This is where it would stand right here, and you can tell by that cloud in the background. And it was only the cheap price of $700. As cool as it is, I'll have to pass on that. Besides, I don't even think I would have room for it. It was so big. And the best part is you can already see them listed on eBay for thousands of dollars. But hey, if you want to spend that, then go right ahead and do it. I'll think it's cool that you did it, but from the sideline. But if you feel like you missed out on the Squid Game doll, this is your next best thing. You have a couple inflatables of Young He. They have 3 of them right on this shelf, plus the costume. Now, of course, over here you have some of the kids' costumes. It looks like none of these have even been touched, but they have some pretty cool ones like this right here. You can be a claw machine. Here's a can of beans for some reason. You got a whoopee cushion, or even this that says free hugs, but he's a cactus. Now, this thing I literally know nothing about. However, I see people comment about it and that it's really popular. So if this is something you love, then here you go. But I couldn't tell you a single thing other than I recognize this face. But what they do got is Skibbity Toilet. Who doesn't want this costume? I mean, I love it so much, I even made my own horror movie about it. What's around this corner? Oh, jeez. I know, guys, I should have put a warning. It was so scary, but hopefully you survived through that. Now, at this point, I'm pretty much taking my last final stroll around to see if anything I want pops up, but sadly, I don't think it'll happen. Now, with this being their flagship location, they definitely had a lot more merchandise than normal. So I went to another one, and this was definitely more like what I was expecting, with empty shelves, barely any people, and the animatronic display being completely destroyed. But that's it for Spirit Halloween until next year. Make sure to subscribe and buy merch. Link in the description. Hey, that may be the end for Halloween, but now Christmas has officially started.